Happy Monday. How you doing? Good. I'm okay. Let me take that back. I'm doing great. No complaints. I don't have anything to complain about. God is good. My family is good. I'm good. So we're great over here. I hope you're doing good too. I just wanted to share some thoughts with y'all this morning that I came across over the weekend while doing some studying and research and so forth. So I'm reading this book. Of course, I'm reading several, but this particular one is The Human Right. The Human Right to Know Jesus Christ and Make Him Known. So my intention is to find a way to reconcile the drive in me for social injustices and social issues and ultimately human and civil rights. I want to be a part of the solution as opposed to part of the problem. And so I'm also reading a book by Angela Davis and a couple of other things. But this particular one was very clear on how to reconcile, because a lot of times when you move in the social sciences realm or law, it seems like there is no connection, or rarely a connection, with your faith. And I wanted to understand how these are connected for my own growth and understanding, right? So anyway, I was thinking about, as I was reading, I was thinking about how literally we're talking about the people that voted on the other side, how they voted against their best interests, right? They had a choice and they made a choice. And even if they regret that choice now, they still had a choice just like the rest of us, and they chose differently. And as I'm reading this book, I'm realizing, like, one, how do we know good from bad, right from wrong, light from dark? Would we know that without God? Question. And then on top of that, for what? Our whole existence, humans have had the potential to do better instead of worse, right? Obviously, evil, if in fact you believe in the spirit realm, I hope you do, because it is very real. Evil, we can't eliminate that, but we can do the work and allow the Lord to do the work in us to not cooperate with it as much as we do. So for instance, all of the money that we put into, the example in the book was all of the money, trillions of dollars put into security across the globe. If we only took 10% or less of that and put it towards other efforts like feeding people, it would eliminate poverty. And there would still be money for the security budget. So instead of us making the sound decisions to uplift each other and consider each other as opposed to just ourselves, we instead choose to prepare for war, which is amazingly literally what just happened in this election to a certain extent, right? Now there is literally a war, even if it's not a physical one, against marginalized groups in this country again. So I was just thinking about that, because he said something. He said, something is broken in the human condition. And it's very true. Literally, you look at people vote against their own interests, and you're like, why would you do that? Or your children, or your grandchildren, or your spouse, or whatever. And it's just real interesting to me. One, we have this concept of human rights, which I will continue to study, because I'm really intrigued how, one, the United States of America was at the forefront of establishing these international rights that humans should automatically. And it's so funny, because in the book he was relating them to like the 10 Commandments. Like, it's very basic, what we would call common sense. But what else did we learn in this election? Common sense is not common. So there goes that. But he was talking about, like, it's the human condition that's broken, but Jesus entered this world with a message of transformation, but that transformation wasn't the oppressors. Have y'all watched The Chosen? Okay, I'm still waiting on season 5 to drop, but I love The Chosen. It brings it to reality in a way that makes it relevant, I think. Like, granted, I've read the Bible, I've read the Gospels, I don't know how many times, and I always learn something new every time I reread it. But watching it on screen and seeing it come forth in a way, in a medium that we're used to, game changer. Totally different understanding. So really understanding that what they were expecting was for him to be a warrior that was coming to help them be delivered from their oppressors, which is a lot of what we were expecting VP Harris to do in a certain extent, right? But that transformation, he came to remind us and to show us that that transformation really begins within ourselves. Because granted, watch, this whole Project 2025 crap, they're invoking laws and they're invoking biblical studies and they're invoking all of this stuff, but it's not changing hearts. It's not meeting the needs of people where they are. And that is going to be deemed ineffective. It's not going to be any different than in the past when you're forcing it on people. And that's why Jesus didn't come to force people free from oppression. He came to show them that that transformation is more powerful from the inside out. And we can't change people. Only God can do that, and only they can do that for themselves. So we really can only do it for ourselves. So, with that said, have a great day. I'll talk to y'all later this week. And I think the coaching thought of today would be, am I doing my own transformation from the inside out instead of looking out to others? Because self-awareness and social awareness is why people did not have common sense. So if you're one of those people that had common sense this time around, then that means you're already on the journey. And remember, we can only change the world by how we show up in it. How are you showing up? All right. That's it for me. Have a great Monday and talk to y'all later this week. Peace.